Hello everyone and welcome to I'll show you how to implement webhooks for your React Express application. Webhooks are used for the purpose of handling post-payment actions and logic. So after a payment is successful on the front end, we have this callback right here. Well, we can call functions and display that the payment did go through. In this, if it succeeded, if the payment intent status is successful, you should use this code block that you would place right here, or here, well, not here, well, here or here, to display to the user that the payment went through. But you should not use this code placed in here to send a request or do logic. The code that should be triggered when a payment is successful, that should change your database or update the user's data in the database, should be on the back end, and it should be done through webhooks and the events that will the webhook events that Stripe provides. So let's get into the docs. We go into accept online payments, accept a card payment, and then towards the bottom of the page, as soon as it loads, for some reason it's not really loading because Corona. So down here, build a custom webhook. So this sort of takes you through a basic one. I'll also do that, and then you can just look through the events API right here, and then it'll show you all the different types of events, so you can then scour through that, and maybe you want to add more logic for specific events and when they do fire. Also, yeah. They do have an example with Node here. I'll just copy this switch statement, and then the rest of it I'll change because we don't really need this. They use the body parser in like a weird way right here, so I won't be doing that. So what we need is a new route. So we're going to post route. We're going to call it /webhooks. Give it a classic request response, put in the switch statement, and also define the event variable at the top, which is going to equal to the request body. So the event variable will hold an event type, and then also all the data inside of the event. Payment intent succeeded is the event that gets fired whenever a payment, specifically a single time payment, was that's not the one, this is the one, has been paid successfully. I'll just do a webhook for that, and then for subscriptions you would use the invoice payment succeeded webhook. You can find this code in the tutorial code repository in my Flask API part, because I did that in the Flask API part, but I don't really want to do it again. So yeah, I'll just copy this bit of the code and show you like a very quick example, and we'll be done with that real quick. So if the event type is payment in oh no, so I want to put this in here and then remove this line, remove this entire thing, because we don't need this entire thing. It would be smart to put the cases in code blocks in between curly braces, so that if you define, let's say, a variable of email here, when you define another one for, let's say, another case for example, subscription payments, you can define another variable named email and give it a value without any issues. So getting back to the code, we have the switch statement. It will take the event type. If we have a case for it, it will handle the logic in here and then return response, right? It will, let me just do that. Okay. So if we have a case, we defined a specific case where we want to handle that specific event type, we will handle it with the code in here, and then it will just respond with the status 200 and just JSON received true. If we do not define a specific case for a specific event, we will send back a status 400 response, because we did not expect this type of event to trigger a webhook. So the Stripe API should know that we do not expect this kind of webhook. This right here will just get the receipt email. This is why I specifically specify that the user should send one, and then in here I'll just console log payment was successful for, and then I'll put the email of the user. And then instead of that, you would probably add some logic where you would query the database, update the user, update the data, update whatever you need to update for that specific user if the payment did go through. That's the logic you would put right here. So let's npm start that. And then what we need to do now is actually get a webhook going. First, we need to open our ports, or in my case, I'll just use ngrok to just get a free open port so I can, let Stripe send requests to my local machine. Go to the Stripe dashboard, go to developers, go to webhooks. I already have one here, but that's not the one. We will go to /webhooks, and then in here I'll add payment intent succeeded right there. Ooh, payment intent succeeded. That's what we need for now. And we got our webhook, right? It's going. So we can now test it. So if we go to the front end and then let's say we make a payment to should get a hook, right, at email.com. We put 42424242 and we click pay. We should see the console log here after the payment has gone through. So you got the money or whatever, money in the bank. And then if we go to the back end, we can see that we received a request from the Stripe API, this is the Stripe itself, and then it was the of type payment intent succeeded, and we got that, the payment went through for should get a hook at email.com. So that's really it when it comes to webhooks. Now you can add more. You can see an example here about like invoices or subscription payments. And if you need to learn more about webhooks, you can just go to this link and then read more about them on the official Stripe API reference docs. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.